Hi everybody, I'm Anthony J. Mead. I'm the author of Raceching Simplified, and today I want to talk to you about a particular chapter in the book, The Power of Numbers. Now, numbers have been used in regard to I Ching over centuries, and in ancient times Chinese sages used to have their own particular little number system. There's been a lot of documentation in regards to it. I think it one particular dynasty, and I'm not certain what it was. I think it possibly the Shang dynasty. They were absolutely fanatical about number systems, and it became quite a thing. And there's a lot of mystique surrounding things like Taipan Shen Shu, which decoded means iron plate divine number. Now that is a secret code that they say if you put the right permutations in, you'll get a series of numbers which will answer your question spot on. Can't be wrong. Well, I don't know about that, but I've done something with my own book here, Raceching Simplified, and related it to horse racing. So in my book is a section on numbers and based around the time that the races run. So there's a whole section based on it. And what I want to do today is explain some of this in a more simple light and take you through it and show you some of the recent winners that I've had from it. So sit back, buckle your seatbelt, and we'll go straight into the next slide and get started. Okay, we're in slide 2. Part of the Raceching book is dedicated to a number system, a secret formula that has links with the race times. Now I've said secret formula, but that's just my way of putting it over. In the Raceching book, there is a number system based on race times. In other words, the times that the races run. And below is an example. You can see a box there, look. The part you need to concentrate upon in the box is the middle column, where you can see a set of numbers. There's 2 sets, look, both at the side of each other. The numbers relate to race times. You can see them. 110, 115, 120, look, 125, etc., etc. Next to the race times is a 4-digit number. Look, 110, you've got 0, 6, 0, 0. 2 o'clock, you got 1, 2, 3, 6. 125, there's 0, 0, 0, 2, etc., etc. The idea is to find these 4 numbers in a horse's form and days since last run figure. There are rules, and I will explain them. So I'll go on to the next slide and you'll see how this is all going to operate. So see you in the next slide. There are 3 simple rules. Rule 1, there must be 4 numbers altogether in any format in the horse's form figures or days since last run figure. Now, the horse's form figures are easy to spot. Just buy a newspaper and to the left of the horse you'll see a sequence of numbers. They are the form figures. The other side, next to the horse's name, on the right hand side, you'll see a figure like 7, 8, 10, 12. Sometimes it's in brackets. That's the days since last run figure. I've done a little example so you'll soon pick it up. But back to the number sequence, look. Say our number is 4132. That's the number we worked out at the time of the race. Then it can appear in the horse's form figures or days since last run, or a combination, as such. 1234, 4231, 1243, 4132, 4213, etc., etc. Can be in the horse's form, figures, days since last run, or a combination. in any format. The numbers must be all together, and here is a graphic example. Now in this example, look, I've named a horse Golden Delight. Now whether or not this horse existed, I haven't got a clue. But for the sake of this example, it's going to be ideal. Look, trainers Henry Cecil, the late Sir Henry Cecil, and the jockey Lester Piggott. Now, the form figures, look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 there. That's good enough. It's not 4, 1, 3, 2 together, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, but it appears in that combination, and that's a live selection. Beneath it, look, is another example. Look, you've got 3, 4, and then the other side in the horse's figures, the days since it last ran, look, you've got 1, 2. So there you go. Look, another example. They are deemed as being clustered together. As long as they're all together in any format, or they appear like we've done in the second example, look, in the form figures and in the days since last run, that's fine. Rule 2. A dash can be filled with any number. Let me explain. When you study horse racing form on a card or in a newspaper, you will often see a dash somewhere in the form figures or at the end of the form, like so. In Raceching Simplified, there is a rule that when you encounter a dash sign somewhere or anywhere in the form figures, you can fill it with any number. In the book, I call it a secret or hidden number. I will demonstrate using the same example as we did above. Now look, in Golden Delight, between 3 and 6 is a small red dash. Look, I put it in red so you'd identify it easy enough. A dash between the 3 and the 6. Now, a dash appears between 3 and 6. We can fill the dash with any number. So we can put number 2 in. Look, we can put number 2 in. We have our 4-number sequence. And this becomes a live number bet. So that's all we did. Look, there was a dash there. We just dropped a 2 in it and we got our 4-number sequence. The numbers 7, 8 and 9 can all be classed as 0. Now let me explain this. I use the Daily Mirror newspaper for their racing form, and it suits me and I like it very much. The cards are well laid out. It's very good. They only go up to 6 in the horse's form, and then everything after 6, so like 7, 8, 9, wherever it finished, 10, is classed as 0. But in some of the other dailies, like the Sun or whatever, they probably will put the exact finishing position, so they might put it down as a 7 or an 8. That's why the numbers 7, 8 and 9, or anything above it in that sense, can be classed as 0. I mean, I could say to you, buy the Daily Mirror, but and that would solve all the problems, because then the racing page would be ideal. But that's up to you. If you use other dailies, 7, 8 and 9 can all be classed as 0. That's all you've got to remember. So just to reiterate on this, if a dash appears, you can fill it with any number. Numbers 7, 8 and 9 can all be classed as 0. Now rule 3, if more than 2 sets of numbers appear in a race, ignore it. No bet. This rarely happens except in big handicaps. Now, I'll explain. If you get 3 or 4 sets of numbers in a race, forget it. The ideal maxim is just 2, and that's basically in large handicaps. If I was to get 2 in a race of say 5, I'd forget that as well. But if you get 2 in a race of more than 8 runners, 8, 9 runners, you can consider it. You can consider backing both, splitting your stake and backing both, or consider backing to a place on the exchanges like Betfair and some of the other exchanges. So it's a simple enough format. You know, ideally you're looking for one horse with the number code in it. But if you get 2, consider backing both. But obviously, if you get more than 2, 3 or 4, forget it. That's my rule. There are other filters you can consider, but you must find them yourselves. Now, what that means basically is this. All of us have got some idea of newspaper punting form. You know, some of us are better at it than others, and there's some people out there really brilliant at reading the form book, so that's great. Whatever level you are, you can find your own little keys to put into this number system. So you can use the bare numbers to select horses and then narrow it down by adding your own little filters. Okay, now in the next slide I'm going to show you some examples that are quite recent. So get yourself ready. Let's look at some recent examples. Now, I backed a couple of these. I didn't back them all. I'll explain. At Leicester, on the 11th of September, look, in the Gately's PLC handicap, we had a number bet, and there was one horse that displayed it, and that horse was Naqua, trained by Owen Burrows, and it was rode by Ryan Moore. Now, it looked good anyway, but personally, when I saw that number, and it was the only one, it was a small enough race as well, I thought, hey, this could be good, and it was. It didn't win it much of a price, 11 to 10, but it was a safe bet as far as I was concerned, and my money went down on it. I don't mind admitting that. At Brighton on the 10th, the day before, there was a Star Sports Bet apprentice handicap. There was a number bet there. I looked at it in the morning and singled it out, but did not back it. Now, I'll tell you why I didn't back it. I forgot. It does happen. I've got such a lot on my mind, I did forget. But Imbucato, that was trained by Tony Carroll and written by Poppy Bridgewater, that won it 2 to 1. It was a standout bet in that race, believe me. I didn't back it, but it won. Now, on the 14th of September at Doncaster at their St Leger meeting, the William Hill Mallard handicap, there was another number bet. There were two in the race. One was the one that won, and I backed that just in time, and the other was Speedo Boy. Now they both qualified, they both had the numbers. Personally, I backed just in time because I've been following this horse a little bit, and that was the only reason. But to be honest, if I hadn't have been, I should have put a little bit on both. I'm glad I didn't, because it won it 12 to 1 and I got the full value. But even so, you know, if you'd have fancied it in that race, you'd have thought to yourself, hold on a minute, can I have a go at this? Could have backed them both. You'd have still come out with a nice profit, and you'd have been quite happy. Now listen to me a minute. Most days there's something. I'm not joking. I mean, some days there's a few number bets and you only get like one winner or something. Some days there's a couple, you don't get any. And some days there's 3 or 4 and they all win. I've seen that happen. Obviously, you've got to try and add the filters to it. And I've got my own particular filters which are personal to me, and I use them. But like I say, the numbers are a great place to start. They're unique to Raceching Simplified. They took over 30 years to develop. I mean, a lot of people laugh at it. They'll say, oh, yeah, but you just stuck them together. No, I didn't. No, I did not. I worked on this. I worked on it over a long period of time. And this is the outcome. The daily paper I use, I've said this already, I've documented this already. It's the Daily Mirror Racing pages. Now, the form figures are well laid out. They are easy to understand. And like I say, any form figure over 6 classes of naught, and that's factor suits me well. But it's up to you. You've all got your own preference. There you go. I mean, consider this. The Racing book is a fantastic book. I'm not just saying it because I've written it. It's a fantastic book because it's got lots of information in the book. This is just part of it. Numbers, directions, and there's a part on symbols. But it's a fantastic book, and I've tried to explain the number section to you in this. I'm Anthony J. Mead. I'm the author of Raceching Simplified. It's available from Amazon bookstores, both as a paperback and Kindle edition. Thank you for listening to this audio video.